something did change in this country after 9/11. That's a real thing. I completely agree with whatever expert put his finger on 9/11. And I'll tell you, I remember when 9/11 happened, the church was all over that. Like the first victim of 9/11, the first officially registered victim was a priest who had some debris fall on him at one of the towers. And as the firemen were going in, they were asking that priest, please, Father, give me general absolution. I mean, that was still the America that we had in 2001, the day 9/11 hit. Now, jump ahead about a decade. I think it was maybe 2012 when you had the Boston Marathon bombing, and there were priests in Boston that wanted to minister when there were people lying on the streets. They were pushed away by the cops. Something happened between 2001 and 2012, and other people have written on this, but I really do think that the United States of America very, very wrongly looked at 9/11, and instead of seeing it as a particular ideology, militant Islam did this, they looked at it and said, well, religion in general did this. Religion in general is bad. And that's when you start seeing bumper stickers about science
coexist.
Or science flies rockets to the moon and religion flies planes into buildings.
That's way worse than coexist.
That's when you started in the second George W. Bush administration. There was this hysteria about theocracy. There was a real turn against God. And I must say, I've lived my whole life in post-1960s America, so to some degree, the change had already occurred. The country I was growing up in the 70s and 80s was already very different than the 40s and 50s, but we were still close enough to the great disruption of the 60s that a lot of what was so good about America was still there in a way that I don't think was true after 9/11. Look, Josh, Catholic Vote has written about this. Robbie George has written about this. There used to be a kind of cultural Catholicism, a cultural Christianity that even if you weren't as serious about the faith as maybe the Loopcast is or its listeners, that you still had some sort of general sense that to be an American is to believe in God, to be religious, maybe not too religious. You don't want to be a weirdo, but to have some sort of basis in biblical religion. And it was after 9/11, it was in the 21st century that was lost. And every year when 9/11 rolls around, it's a day of mourning for everyone. For me, I'm not just mourning the people who were lost that day or in the subsequent wars. I'm mourning the America that we still had on 9/11 that I think is gone now.